Well, hello everyone. Welcome to my channel or welcome back. It's been a while. If you're a returner, it's so great that you are still around. I appreciate you guys. We're just going to jump right in because for a lot of you, you're about to come out of a very long period of isolation. Now, for some of you, you have been literally, physically by yourself, maybe separated, not super social. For others of you, there are people around, but these people don't necessarily have access to the kinds of resources that will enable you to move forward, right? There are people around you who, and not in a bad way, have served their purpose. And I don't mean that as in you are somebody who just uses people and discards them, but I mean this as in as far as you two can walk and as far as your paths are parallel to each other, they're now starting to divert, and you're going to be surrounded by new, not just people, but opportunities and resources, and for some of you, environments, completely new environments that will help you feel more connected in multiple ways. I'm seeing for a lot of you, finances. I mean, for a lot of people in general, with the state of the world, right? Finances are a big concern. um, I'm seeing that in the recent past, finances have been a struggle. And I'm getting that, again, the resources are there. We may need to sit down and I'm hearing the word scrutinize, specifically scrutinize, um, or maybe even this might be your first time actually planning a budget, but I'm seeing like the need to sit down and see where certain resources are going. And this isn't just limited to finances. As soon as I started going down that path, they were showing me where are you allotting all of your energy, all of that type of um, fuel that you use throughout your days, whether it's financial or it's your own energy, if it's your emotions. What are we investing in? Um, Small changes I'm seeing could help. I'm getting a lot of consuming because a lot of what we do is consume. And you're wanting to step into a more intentionally and consciously creative space. So we need to be more conscious about what we're doing. If you're the type of person that likes to, have background noise on, so you will turn your TV on or put on a video, on YouTube or Twitch or something like that. We need to make sure that whatever is playing on in the background, because it is going into our subconscious mind, is helpful in some way. There are a lot of, programs that are very entertaining, but the reasons that they are entertaining may put us in different headspaces that we're not even aware of. So if you're the type of person that likes to, like I said, just either, I'm even seeing someone like rewatch a lot of things. If you've been rewatching the same thing over and over and over again, it might also be time to move away from that to find a new kind of inspiration. And that's literally, they're just showing me like we're using the same types of neural pathways again and again and again, right? And what we're looking for is something different. So we need to help activate and create and strengthen those new neural pathways, right, that we're looking for. And just a small way to do that is the music you're listening to, the shows that are on in the background, the videos, all that type of stuff. What I'm seeing as a block, you have a lot of rules, it seems, constraints. You have this idea of what things around you should look like for other things to happen, for this big goal that you have. What I'm seeing too is mainly a vision where so much of what it is that you envision for yourself, most of, if not everything that currently surrounds you, is not even there. Right. And so it's difficult to slowly start to, I'm seeing someone like put things down. If there are habits, if there are things that you feel like are, I don't like to really say waste of time, but if it is not something that is preparing you, that is in, some type, and you don't always have to be training and working and practicing. Please don't misunderstand me. But this is a need to look at, okay, maybe I'm spending too much time here. And I would benefit, I could greatly help myself, and this would benefit me if I actually took more time doing this thing instead. of, maybe just doing the mindless kind of scrolling or what have you. So yeah, you have a very kind of strict almost idea of what happiness could entail for you. So much so that you're locking yourself up to other experiences that will actually help you integrate the type of feeling that you're wanting in your everyday life that seems to be eluding you right now, right? So we need to kind of loosen up the reins a bit, try new things, and we can start small with just what is around you in your immediate space that you interact with every single day. We don't have to take these big massive life changes just yet, although there are some big changes that you have in mind that eventually we will need to approach, right? And another thing for a lot of you is consistency, which I know. um, but the ways that we are implementing our routines and the things that again we're prioritizing are those things that are inching us closer towards our goal, or are these comforts that we have, uh, you know, created around us that are unfortunately keeping us in the same place because we're just so comfortable. And the last thing on blockages is that I'm seeing strongly for so many of you is that you have to be so sure that you can accomplish what it is that you're doing, because for a lot of you I'm getting a lot of like big picture things. It's not just that you want to, say have a big house for yourself and you want a really nice car and you want a really, attractive life partner, but I'm like, this is a reading for people who feel that they have like an impact, on the world. They came here to do something. I'm seeing a lot of service type roles that are very demanding and ask a lot of us. So when it comes to that, I'm also seeing it as it relates to the signifier, which is we have the Five of Pentacles reversed. Right now, to accomplish that goal, again, just the people that are around you that will help create this community that I think you've been looking for, you're actually meant to help create. I'm seeing like a kind of a founder vibe where you are like one of many original kind of members to the type of community in space that you are wanting to find yourself in right now, right? I see you like kind of looking for the types of people that share your interests and your goals and what inspires you. And you're like, where the heck are they? I would, it's one of those things where I think you're waiting to find the right people to fully put yourself out there and do what it is that you want to do and are here to do. However, you act, it's the reverse. You have to you have to act first. What is that cliche about? If you're, looking in a mirror and you're waiting for the mirror to smile, you're going to be waiting for forever. You have to smile first and then the rest comes. So this is about doing the action first. The supports will come, right? In our subconscious influence, we have the Eight of Pentacles, which is really telling me that you have not only been working at this tirelessly, like I'm seeing a great deal of investment has gone into this, not just like in thought, but you have been putting actual work towards this. There is like, you do have a little something to show for it, when you have conversations about what it is that you want to do with your life or this project that you're embarking on, this vision that you do have tangible ideas and maybe even like some experience in what it is that you want to do that you can talk about. I will say as part of the hesitation that we need to work on releasing is that maybe the past that you have taken that you thought was going to be the correct way to kind of follow this calling that you have, they haven't been the most aligned. So there could be a degree of discouragement there. There could be a little bit of doubt, maybe a little bit of hesitation when it comes to stepping out onto a new path, because you feel like, and again, I want to emphasize feel like, the perception is that there had been some type of misstep before, something you should have seen before, something you should have been able to avoid before. That if you had only known, this, that, and the third at that time, that you would be at a better place, at a more advantageous position or something like that. Stop doing that to yourself, because it's not true. And it puts us in this place of disconnect and doubt with our own intuition and discernment. We're questioning choices that we made in the past, even though they felt so right, because we feel like now we didn't get what we believed we should have gotten. And that it will also keep us from being able to fully receive and integrate what it is that we were meant to have at that time. You don't know what kind of foundation needed to be set before the actual building could happen. You know what I mean? You don't know what needed to be taken away before a foundation could even be set to be able to build. You know what I mean? So let's be gracious about where we are and things that we've done with our past. Let's not carry that weight or hold ourselves hostage to who we were or who we have been. Okay. We are moving towards, I mean, this is the vision that you have for yourself. I think is one that very few, if anyone around you, actually knows about, like truly knows about. I think a lot of things that you want to do seem so grand, and they might not even be like massive global, like that type of thing, but like it's big in the sense of like the people that you're around. Maybe you come from a town or an area where it's like people are just kind of there, you know what I mean? The loops and the patterns, you can see them clearly. People don't ever leave your hometown type vibe. So what you want to do is so out there that maybe either, maybe directly someone might have said something to you, or more subconsciously you absorbed like through your environment and the interactions you've had with people, that it's like what you want to do seems unattainable. You know what I mean? That if you were to talk to just like the average person maybe that's around you, they'd be like, wow, and it's not to say that it's not big, but I think that too can almost discourage you because there hasn't really been people around you that are like more supportive in that way, like get excited. There's almost like a kind of fear that maybe like creeps into people's like eyes when you talk about this, that's like they just can't imagine themselves doing it. So when you talk about doing it, they could sow their kind of seeds of doubt, that is like the distorted care that they're giving to you because they want to warn you or save you from some type of possible disappointment. But again, this is why you need to be so secure in yourself and your vision, because what you need to do, you are creating, and for a lot of you too, it's like there are things that need to be uprooted first. Like I'm seeing roots, big deep roots coming out of the ground, where whatever type of project you're embarking on, there could already be like a set kind of way of doing things, or a set way that people believe that these things need to be accomplished, and you're trying to help innovate and make things better and maybe even like more accessible for other people. So I'm understanding how you've been feeling this kind of overwhelmed, because it seems like there are so many things that need to go into this, and you also just can't do it by yourself because of the kind of scale of what it is that you're doing. But when we're moving towards that, I think what's going to start happening is you are going to realize how so much of what has been created isn't really based on anything. That a lot of people that came before you that maybe had the same goal that, eventually gave up, they just
believed
weren't
to
willing to
be
undertake it.
insurmountable.
But really, you're going to have the kinds of connections. And again, I'm just seeing really like resources. I think you're going to be, I'm seeing someone being like plugged back in to a network. And then there's just this massive expansion that happens. I will say too, I'm just getting a little something about like a smidge of temptation that might come along the way, especially when it comes to money. Like I'm like a possible position, maybe, where it's like kind of checking boxes, moving through the motions of things that you don't believe are actually helpful, but it's tempting because it would provide you with a certain degree of stability right now that you don't feel that you have. If you are able to walk away from it, great. For some of you, I think you'll take the position and you'll work it for a while, and then you'll understand, because the reason that it's just not fitting will become so glaringly obvious that it can't be avoided, right? If it comes down to ethics, or maybe you have moral objections to kind of what's going on. Um Also in the past, I want to say that I'm seeing like just a lot of harshness is the way that it's coming through. Um you may be moving into a field, especially if it's like anything in service, where you are truly working with people who are underserved, or maybe, at a disadvantage on wherever the spectrum that lies. You very frequently come into contact with people who, because of the things that they have experienced, are very sharp. Maybe they're very short. They come off as abrasive. A lot of people that you maybe encounter that you're almost kind of working against are very calloused. Again, because of like the field that they find themselves in, the experiences, the kinds of things that I'm even seeing like coworker. The example that I'm getting is like, if you're a social worker, right? And you go into these places and spaces where people are being, really mistreated, like they're being abused. And you're trying to work with someone, and you're just not understanding how they can be so cold and callous, and say the things that they say. And it's like, this is someone who has had more experience with this than maybe you think, and this is their way of coping. But it's a lot of that I'm seeing, like in the past, where, and again, when it's been directed at you, when this type of like cold, almost indifference is what it feels like, has come in contact with you, it's very jarring. And it's unfortunately, just people's defense mechanisms, because they have also been through the ringer. And so the only way that they know how to continue moving through what it is that they're doing is to be that kind of really harsh, cold, cutting. But this could also be, if it's not an actual person, I'm getting a lot of like masculine energy there with it. So it could be, you know what I mean? It could be like a man in some of your lives who are just really unempathetic. But more in general, I think this is kind of the attitude that you feel people kind of regard your work as a whole with, a kind of indifference, a kind of coldness. Moving into the future, though, what is incoming? A great deal of focus, when it comes to what it is you want to intentionally create here with the Magician, clarified by the Seven of Wands and the Fool. You are on the right track. You are. Nothing is wasted. Even if you aren't exactly where you want to be, where you envisioned yourself being, whatever, right? There are challenges that are present, like about them. This isn't like, don't be afraid. This isn't something that's like creeping up right now. Actively, I see you juggling and trying to kind of keep your head above water. You're doing great. I think that you are getting really hard on yourself, again, just because certain things aren't what they should be. I'm even getting like, for some of you, like some small kind of inconvenience happens throughout the day, but because you feel already like things are just so out of place, it's like one small thing, you'll take it to a kind of extreme of like, oh, this is some type of sign. Like, oh my God, I dropped my fork on the floor. There's no reason. Like, this, I'm getting like really small things. You're putting a lot of meaning into like small, what I would consider missteps, as like being representative that you just must be on the wrong path. Don't do that to yourself. That's not accurate. All right. This new opportunity to truly create, something grand, whatever it is that you have envisioned for yourself in all this time. I'm seeing a lot of like mental kind of just that consciousness envisioning energy that is ready just to crack, right? If we're looking like at an egg, it is ready to crack. You just have to keep going. Do not get discouraged by what you are seeing around you that you feel does not adequately represent what it is that you fully want to do and embody. You are doing a great job. You are on your way there. Hang on, okay? That's all I have for you guys today. I'm so glad to be back. I really appreciate it if you're here. Any likes, comments, if you want to subscribe, that's all greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys next time, all right? Don't quit your daydream. Bye.